This is the Momentum Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Jeremy Bergeron. I am checking back in from Alex Sharfin's team, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm super excited about this week's episode because you get to hear from our existing members, from some of the people that we've been working with, and they get into specifics around, hey, what are some of the results they get in their business? What are some of the outcomes for them and their teams? I think you're gonna absolutely love this episode. Check it out.
I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be.
To get started, I just want to introduce you guys really quickly, and here's what I'll ask. I'm going to do an introduction for you, and then I'd like you to just quickly share with everybody who's listening what type of business you're in, how long you've been working with us, and what was the business like before, and where are you now? So where were you when you started? Where are you now? That way everybody just kind of has context, because I know the people who have signed into this are from all over the place and all different levels of business. And I want people to know who they're hearing from. So if it's okay, I'm going to start with you, Amanda. So just to give you my introduction of Amanda, so you guys can understand why we brought her onto this call. Amanda is an attorney, and I don't want you to hold that against her because she's one of the good ones. We love having attorney clients in our company because we work with the attorneys that are out changing the world. Amanda runs a legal firm that processes disability claims for military members. So every time she reports to our team that her business is growing, we know that more former soldiers are getting the disability claims that they really need. So we're constantly excited to help Amanda grow. Amanda, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, sure.
So you already told them what I do for a living, which is awesome. And yeah, we focus on our critical number on veterans that we're able to help. And our revenue goal isn't really about our revenue. It's more about the back pay that we're able to get for our clients. And it was kind of cool when I figured out that in the last 5 years, we've gotten about $40 million of back pay for veterans that they wouldn't have otherwise got. So it's a pretty rewarding job, but it's pretty tough as well. I started working with Alex last October, November, right around there. So it's coming up on a year. And I would say the biggest change that's happened is we've almost doubled our new clients from the last year to this year, which is awesome. But what's been the most rewarding for me has been building the team and really allowing them to blossom and become who they are. And Alex has coached me through that because I'm not very good at letting go of control. So.
And Amanda, has the firm grown financially in the year that you've been with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Ours is a little weird because it's on a contingency. So when we bring on new clients, we don't get paid for those for 3 years. So it's more, the growth is bigger we brought on more new clients this year, which is going to turn into revenue 2 to 3 years from now. But our revenue, this is our best revenue year so far.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here. So awesome to have you here. Awesome. Justin, let's go to you next. I'm not going to steal the thunder and tell everybody what you do. I'll just tell everybody I brought you on this call because I think you're an intense entrepreneur. You've grown your business a ton, and I'm excited for everybody to hear from you.
Cool. So my name is Justin Dyson. I have an e-commerce business. We sell physical products primarily on Amazon and Walmart.com. We came to Alex about a year ago, actually a year ago this month, actually.
It is, right?
Yeah. And so when we first came on, it's kind of sad to say, I didn't know what my last 12 months of revenue was at the time. At a live event, and we had just crossed $3 million in the last 12 months. So first of all, that was kind of cool because I didn't even know. And then, but we should do over 6 this year, or between 5, a little more than 6, maybe. We'll see. But things are looking really good in that regard. Primary reason we came, wanted to join this program and things like that was because my team didn't know what was going on. I had 2 people. I still have those 2 people. I'm actually looking to hire a third right now. I'm going through that whole process. But that was kind of the thing we got the most clarity on, was figuring out where we're going, why we're going there, and then how the heck we're going to get there. And it's obviously working. So
that's awesome. So it's about double the size of the business, similar to Andrea, double the size of new client acquisitions, double the size of the business in the past year.
Yep.
It's intense, Justin. I've got a couple of questions for you, but I want to get everybody introduced. These are the hardest calls for me because I'm like, I want to dive right in with Amanda. Then I want to dive right in with Justin. It's like, it's so hard to get to the introductions. So next, Wallace, I'm going to come to you. So just for everybody who's watching, Wallace is an intense entrepreneur. He's also somebody that I looked up to as a father and a husband and a family person. He's amazing, and his business is pretty intense. I'll let him tell you about it.
Thank you, Alex, and thanks for letting me be on today. Sharfin's been such a huge part of my life the last year plus. But the business that I'm in, I actually am second generation in a 40-year-old company, and we sell business to business in the research, development, and manufacture of nutritional supplements. So for us, our mission really is to change the world by changing lives. And every time we make a sale, the cool thing, since we kind of sell one to many, we sell to an entrepreneur or a business, and then they reach thousands of people that they serve. So it's fun to have a huge impact in natural medicine by working business to business. And we have been working with Alex for about 15 months now. So where we were at when we started, I was just about a year into taking over this company fully from my mother, who was the founder of the company and had formerly been my partner. And like, without pulling any punches, I absolutely hated it. We were stagnant. I loved the work we did. I loved the impact we had. I thought what we did was important, but we'd been stagnant in our revenues for 3 or 4 years. And just every disaster you hear about in a company, we had, our management meetings were these grinding 3 and 4 hour affairs that got nowhere and resolved nothing. And I literally dreaded walking into the office every year. Or every day, excuse me. And in the time since we started working with Alex and installed the systems, it could not be more different. It's a dynamic, fun, enjoyable environment. I love my team. I love the people that I work with. I love our customers more because we're getting along better and better with our customers. And everything has changed in how we're running the company, but also in our results. So we had stagnated right at 6.8 million. When we started with Alex, and we ran through the first half of this year at almost a $10 million run rate. So it's been dynamic, dramatic growth for us.
So awesome, Wallace. I want to come back to you on some of that stuff, especially on the familial stuff, because so many people have the pain of that type of a business. But let's get the last introduction out of the way here. Andrea Max, I'm so excited to have you here for you to share with everybody. I know I didn't realize there was 4 of you, and I've been completely out of it because everything is going on in my life, and I didn't realize it was these 4 people. So I'm a little overwhelmed with the awesomeness. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Andrea Maxim. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I run 3 brick and mortar businesses, and I own 1. And then I'm also helping online other healthcare practitioners so that they don't have to feel the healthpreneur poverty, which happens so often with practitioners because we're not business minded, we're health minded. So I have been in the Sharfin code since the end of March. So I'm basically in my 6 months, and I went into it knowing that I needed to implement right away. I started as a team of 1. I had a part-time virtual assistant. In the first 3 months, I doubled my team. So I hired a project manager. I also hired an associate who is now is training, onboarding right now in my Caledonia clinic, which I own, and she's going to take over for me in 2 months. So in 2 months, I will have gotten 20 hours of my clinic time back. so I can be a better manager. And so the biggest transformation for me is now I'm stepping away from practitioner into basically like a leader and a manager of my business. And it brings tears to my eyes even when I talk about it, because the day that I signed up, I didn't know what I was capable of doing, and I went so far outside of my comfort zone. And I had like a call with some of the coaches where I just bawled for 20 minutes because I felt so unsure and stressed out about all of this responsibility that I felt. But onboarding my project manager with the Sharfen method, it was the easiest onboarding that I've ever had onboarding new people. Now with this new associate, I was freaking out equally. She's onboarded completely. And in fact, Laura has like guided her into the whole process. So I've literally stepped out of all of those managerial things now. And I just focus perfectly on sort of my level of the business and let my team run the rest. And I cannot say enough, like, again, like as I'm saying this, there's tears welling behind my eyes that I didn't know that this lifestyle was possible in such a short period of time for me to be implementing. So I just have to say kudos to Sharfen and your team, because from a practitioner, like the biggest thing that we worry about is that we're irreplaceable. And I'm proving that I am not a unicorn, as none of us are. And I now have someone who is pretty much ready to go. Like, I don't think I would have onboarded her nearly as quickly. And we're developing processes. We're writing out all of these things that I didn't have before. So the sky's the limit now. If I do this correctly, I can have practitioners in all of my clinics just be the clinic owner, which is what I want to be. And we could even start franchising this whole process as well. Like, I didn't have these options before.
Andrea, is it fair to say that because I remember some of our exchange, you and I, is it fair to say that 6 months ago, you didn't think there was any way you could get out of being the clinician in the practice?
No way. It was a dream. It was a pipe dream. I didn't know how I could possibly do it, how I would train the person, what I would have them do, what it would even look like. And I just trusted the process, even when because we were at one of the live events, and I put that ad out at the live event and said, I remember. So I just like forced myself to do it. And because I've done it, now all the stress is away, and I'm like, like this is actually materializing. Like I just can't believe it. Yeah.
I like that you use a clinical term there. Because it is, right?
Very professional.
So here's what's awesome. Like, I want everyone to hear what we just heard. So we have a law firm that's doubled incoming business. It's going to double incoming money in a couple of years, just based on the business model. We have a supplement company that's grown by like almost double, but very close to double after stagnating for a long time. We have a physical products company that's been with us for 1 year this month and is about to double the business. And then Andrea, you're like, you can't say enough about being the technician or the practitioner or the clinician in a business and wanting to get out, because every person who's in that position feels like it's a pipe dream. It's like they have this fantasy in their heads that someday it'll happen. And it went from pipe dream to reality in 6 months. And so, you know, what I want to now go back and come back to each one of you. And I'm going to go out of order because I don't want to keep us in a loop, but I'm going to start with Wallace. So Wallace, one of the things that we tell businesses is if you don't have a clear strategic plan, it's near impossible to successfully run a business without conflict and without stepping all over each other. When we first started working together, one of the things I asked you was, you know, this is a mature business. Do you have a strategic plan? And I remember you asking, like, what do you mean by that? And we talked about it a little. And I said, Wallace, if you put these processes in place, they will actually solve what's going on. You don't have to solve it. The process will. Do you remember us having that conversation?
I do. Yeah. I remember some pretty desperate conversations. That was a part of all of them.
So when you put the strategic plan in place, what was the difference in the business, Wallace, from going like, we don't have a planning system to now putting one in place?
I didn't realize how much I ran in. I don't even know the term black ops that you use, but everything in our entire company was black ops. And it either was something that I was running where I had an expectation that things would happen that I hadn't communicated to anyone on my team, or it was small segmented pieces of the team chasing off after something without the knowledge or consent of anyone else on the team. And what that led to was a ton of confusion. And that led to a ton of disharmony, not only in like the interpersonal relationships within the business, but in getting anything to function together as a unit like it should. And the process of going through, we started, the very first thing we did with the cadence was sit down and do our annual plan, and then the quarterly and the monthlies, and then bump that off with a culture meeting followed by our first daily huddle. And all of that felt crazy because we had never really done anything structured like that. But the change was immediate. In like a day or two, the entire team knew what was going on. They knew where we were going. They knew what we were going to do to try to get there. And it's like everything started working in concert almost immediately. And the change of the field, the change of the way our team interacted with each other, the way that they related with me, the way we related with our customers, it was like a light switch, turning that on, and everything was better in a matter of a day or two once we got the system in place.
There's another phenomena you experienced, Wallace, and I hope this is okay to bring it up. You and I have talked about it together before in front of an audience, so I'm making the assumption it's okay. But one of the things that you were dealing with was because the business had existed for so long, and I know there's people listening who have mature businesses, and anyone who's in a mature business, we just started working with somebody who has a field testing company that's been around for a few decades, so another mature business. And in any mature business, there's usually this issue where there's people who've been in a position for a long time, so long that like nobody could ever imagine them not being in that position, but almost everybody knows maybe they shouldn't be anymore. And there's some adjustments needed and some changes needed. And one of the things that you told me was like, I just don't know how I can possibly make these adjustments because people have been around so long. And I told you, I remember you looked at me like I had crazy eyes because I said, Wallace, trust me. This process will fix the people problems. And you're like, okay. like I had just told you that, it was going to help you walk on water or something. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I actually, let me flavor that just a touch more. Where you and I had that conversation was at our very first summit event with you in Austin. And it was before we had started implementation of anything. It was literally within maybe a week or two when you and I talked about, finding out about the program and signing up. Like we just kind of hit that summit event. And I made it through the first half of the first day. And at lunch, I had like a complete mental and emotional breakdown. Like I literally had to go back to my room because I was freaking out so bad, thinking there's no way I could move some of these people into the way that you're asking me to work. And I thought there was no way that I could overcome some of those challenges we had with some longstanding people. And you did ask me to trust you. I did think you were crazy.
It's nice how when you say you did ask me to trust you and I did think you were crazy, the other three people all nodded.
Yeah. I don't think I'm unique in that experience. So. But you said something to me there that you said not only like, will the process fix the people, but that basically there was a good chance they were going to take care of it themselves without me having to really approach those uncomfortable moments. And I didn't really believe you. I wanted to believe you, but I didn't. But just like you had kind of predicted, within a couple weeks, one of the biggest sticking points that I was most worried about basically came to me and said, hey, I need to fire myself and move to something I'm better suited for. And it was amazing and so beneficial for what we were doing. And I completely avoided what I was so scared of having to do because the process fixed it for me.
Hey everybody, thanks a lot for listening again this week. We always appreciate you taking time to listen to these episodes. If you're an entrepreneur and you want some clarity on your business and where you need to go next, if you want to build systems and processes around your team and shift from transactional leadership to transformational leadership, if you want to establish a forward-looking planning and communication system that will set you up for success the entire time you operate in business, then head over to billionairecode.com/apply-now. That's billionairecode.com/apply-now.